Roethlisberger to a wall in the end zone. His second touchdown. And the ball is loose. Third and 4.
Yo, welcome to another edition of the AFC North Talk, coming back from the break. And by the way, sorry for the tweet or for the message. My stream wasn't up. I was like, what the F? I was like, I know we took a
long break. It's been a long break. We're not used to this.
Rusty.
I was
Rusty.
funny. I was like, damn, I missed the show. It's weird. I miss y'all. But hey, free agency's here. Off-season's here. By the way, guys, in the off-season, these shows are way lighter. Let's have fun with it. But yeah, how are you, Ace? How you been since the last time we talked?
I'm doing good, bro. Like, obviously, losing the Super Bowl sucks for sure, but it kind of was, you didn't really have that much time to like really get over the Super Bowl and get into the combine, because combine was like literally like 2 weeks later. So It was something that I wasn't really used to because I knew like nothing about the draft. And then you're not excited for the combine at all because you're picking 31. So you're not looking at mock drafts at 31 because it's like you don't know who the hell is going to be there. So I kind of found myself looking at like trade scenarios, and mostly free agency is what I'm kind of excited about now. But yeah, obviously losing the Super Bowl is tough, but you got to move on, and it's a new season. And, all of this news and excitement that's been around just the NFL in general has kind of got the pep back into the step. And I thought that this would be like the time where I kind of transitioned to the NBA, but I'm just hungry for more like NFL, to be honest. The Lakers are trash right now. The Lakers are a dumpster fire right now. And so I've just been waiting
LeBron
around.
talking about he the third calf.
Right. Right. So yeah, it's been good though, bro.
I will say this, Ace, not to derail the show, but you're welcome. Well, I tried to say here, you need another superstar. Here's Russell Westbrook. There you go. He was good with us. For you guys, maybe not as well, but I tried to help y'all. I don't know.
Hey man, Ace, by the way, I just gotta check in with you. I know you kind of know so the losing the Super Bowl thing, so you ain't thought about that extra second you could have gotten. Joe Burrow would have just got loose through that thing at the Lamar Chase. You would damn, Ace. You would have saw the greatest play in Bengals history.
That would have been crazy, bro. Yeah. I just think about Riley Reef. I'm just like, if Riley Reef was still in that game, what we have wanted. But yeah, that 1 second.
That was rolling to Riley Reef's side, man. One injury.
Yeah.
Right? Jamar Chase wide open. Oh. And I don't know what that would feel like.
There wouldn't have been no excuse.
That can't feel great.
On that one.
You're terrible. You're terrible. Cody, and how you been? I know the Rodgers thing is not happening, and then the Russell Wilson streams also crashed. But there's the Trubisky, there's the Heineke.
This is the brilliant part of being a Steeler fan this offseason is that you can't have heartbreak because you roll one heartbreak into the next one. Oh, we didn't get Aaron Rodgers? All right, let's try for Russ. Not Russ? All right, let's see about Deshaun Watson. All right, not Watson? All right, that's fine. Let's see what free agent we can get. We can't get a free agent? Maybe Malik falls to us at 20. Maybe they go up and get him. No, this is awesome. Look, the Steelers haven't even done anything yet. I mean, they literally have done nothing yet. And yet every day on Steelers Twitter, it's another meme about whether it's, before it was the Aaron Rodgers thing. Now it's Sean King, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback, Sean King, who reported the other day that the Steelers will be trading for Deshaun Watson if he is cleared of the charges by the grand jury. That happened today. And so now I guess Steeler fans are we're on Deshaun Watson watch here in Pittsburgh as we wait to see if Sean King has good sources there. I doubt he does, but wait and see.
And Q, how you been, bro?
I just need somebody to not come to the AFC. Can we do that? Like, can somebody just stay where they at? Like, Khalil Mack came here. Why is everybody coming here? We fool. Like, there's no reason to come to the AFC anymore. Like, we gonna have a 12-win team not make the playoffs this year or something ridiculous. We gonna have to trade some of these teams to the NFC. This is ridiculous. I am opposed to all of this. Like, damn, we are not letting another quarterback come to the AFC unless they come to the Browns. But even then, just get them out the AFC, dog. Let's just get some of these dudes out. Russ is in the AFC now. He's on the Denver Broncos.
That division is nasty. Like, that division right now is.
Tony, how you feel about stacking up to those guys with Mason Rudolph and Baker Mayfield?
Oh, baby. Wait, listen. If we're getting Mason out there, I'm going 10 Commander 2022. Listen, I'm all in.
Wait, you told me asking, right?
Here's the
Rudolph
thing,
can't hurt me in
Tony.
2022 because
Here's
that's
the thing,
just leads
Tony.
to Bryce Young in 2023.
Here's the thing, Tony. You bring up an excellent point. These circumstances are going to create a situation to where it is inevitable that the next quarterback, Bryce Young, is probably going to be in the AFC because you're going to either be really good or stink.
The Jaguars are gonna be first overall.
Yeah. Let Trevor Lawrence get good, right? Like, we don't even know about that one. He was a former number one overall.
Zach Wilson too, but number 1 and number 2 overall last year were both in the AFC.
And CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are coming next.
Yeah,
we just don't know who.
Williams after that. So
So shout out to the AFC. They're gonna have to do something about realignment at some point, because they're gonna have to open it up or something, because this is ridiculous. We're gonna see like 12-win teams not make the playoffs in the AFC, and then meanwhile in the NFC you can get to there with 6 wins or something like that. NFL.
Okay, we have a super chat here. By the way, super chats. We try to make sure we read all the super chats. Noah Stone here says Ravens need to get, I'm assuming that's Brandon Williams, but I don't know who TM is, and restructure Peters. I think they need to probably extend Peters.
Didn't they already restructure Peters like a month ago?
No, he's in a year. No, they restructured Tim and Young last year to cut him this year. And then again, I don't know. I'm trying to think who TM is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of TM. I don't know. Free agent TM. Is it okay?
Tyrann
Matthew. Everyone's talking about Matthew. Yeah, because Elliott's a free agent. But okay, can we start with the Ravens, Sonny? Because
is that the Joker? The Joker? They're getting rid of.
Yeah, the Joker's a free agent.
Joker off now?
No, the Joker is a free agent. The Joker is a free agent.
So he's no longer the Joker.
BW is Bobby Wagner. Oh, they want to replace Queen already? We're done with Queen?
No.
They want him to help elevate Queen until he gets elevated.
That's what Steelers fans want to. Like, come elevate Devin Bush.
Well, we have.
Somebody texted me that Brian Flores is gonna fix Devin Bush. I'm like, I don't know what he can do about that, baby. I seen the tape.
Well, you just gotta hope that it's the ACL. I mean, listen, that's the thing. If Brian Flores can't fix you,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Yeah,
I would say this. In the case of Matthews, a lot of people want Matthews. I think the problem with Matthews is he's getting in there in the end of his career. It's all about how much money. I think he's trying to squeeze as much money as.
Dog, you the Ravens. This is what y'all do, though.
This is the image.
If you're the Ravens.
Oh yeah, we do take the older players, but
y'all had Calais Campbell on the roster last year. He was almost 40.
Yeah.
Tyrann Mathieu's a young man in that locker room.
Isn't the biggest issue?
line.
Isn't the biggest issue for the Ravens signing Matthew is that, look, if the Ravens are going to sign like a big name safety, don't they need to figure out his family situation first just to make sure that's all good?
No, you just don't need to play Derrick Henry.
As long as exactly.
Skip all that man out the league.
Yeah.
Ravens, though, I mean, look, talking about the Ravens real quick, right? Because you got the Lamar contract, which probably should happen this offseason, although there's like indications that it may not. They may actually have to franchise him next year, which is a weird situation. But they don't have a lot of cap space right now, right? I mean, according to Over the Cap, it's $15 million. Now I know that they can restructure some guys and get more. But yeah, what's the deal, Sonny? I mean,
it's funny.
How active do you expect them to be?
I'm not expecting them to be very active at the beginning of the offseason, which people are talking about Tyrann Mathieu and Bobby Wagner ain't happening. Bobby Wagner, somebody's going to pay a ton of money. I don't think it will happen. The Ravens are not like in desperate need of a middle linebacker. Free safety, I think, is a need, especially because the problem with the Joker is also the Joker's injured. He won't play at the beginning of the season. If I remember, I think he tore something, like 3/4 of the season.
Yeah.
So even if they bring him back, they need a free safety, right? I love Clark, but Clark is more of the box safety type of guy. I don't think Matthew will come to Baltimore because I think he would demand a lot of money. I think Brandon Williams is why I thought Brandon Williams. They probably bring him back on a cheaper deal. His cap hit has been big in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Elias Campbell. I think Elias Campbell is also going to try to get the highest bidder. I don't think the Ravens will be the highest bidder.
Is he unrestricted?
He's unrestricted. Who? Campbell.
Campbell, yeah.
He's gotta be. Ain't no way to do that old a restricted free agent.
Yeah, no, he's unrestricted. I think if they dip their toes into signing somebody with big money, it will be more on the like Trent Williams, the tackle. I think they're gonna try to
Trent
find
Brown.
the right
Trent Brown.
Brown, the Patriots tackle. I think somebody like that play right tackle because Stanley should be on indications he's ahead of schedule.
What about the one guy that you guys signed from the Broncos, Juwan James? Isn't he healthy this year?
He might, but Juwan James is a sneeze away from being done for the year again. I mean, he barely has played for the past 5 years. I think he's a non-guaranteed, like $2 million, whatever it is.
Yeah. So he's like Sammy Watkins of right tackles, essentially.
I mean, they signed him there to see if there's something they can get out of him for a very cheap deal. I mean,
he's going to play right tackle, right? It's a take a flyer on a right tackle, right?
That's all he played.
Yeah.
Broncos gave him a bunch of money to play left tackle. He showed up to camp, and he was like, "Yeah, I really don't play left tackle." And they tried to put him in right tackle, and I don't think in the past 4 years, check how much games he's played. He hasn't played much.
Right.
But Brown is an interesting one. Then center, right? So the problem the Ravens right now have, assuming Stanley comes healthy, right? Left tackle, good. They drafted a left guard last year, in the 3rd round. So the probability is he probably starts this year on left guard. Our center's a free agent, Bradley Bozeman. There's Jensen, there's Bozeman. One of the two you could sign. A lot of people are linking us, and I'm forgetting the guy's name from Iowa. Love what I see from his tape.
Linderbaum?
Linderbaum.
Thank you.
Linderbaum.
Yeah.
Dude looks really
Short
good.
arms, though.
Okay. Right guard, Seiler. Seiler played great for us last year. Most consistent alignment last year. And then the right tackle is a big mystery. For center, we have 2 backup centers in the roster. One of them played for us, center, right guard, and right tackle. So he's been all over the place. Not because he's bad. He's been basically a utility guy. And then we have Tristan Colon Castillo. So I think they probably go hard if they're going to go hard any free agent on a tackle, a more right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And they might try to get the center in the draft and say, okay, we'll get center in the draft. And then the rest of the O-line should be fine, obviously pending injuries. Because the other position that they need is D lineman. And people will talk about corners, and yes, I agree. Now with Tavon Young, they might bring him back or not. But D lineman, because we have, even if you bring Williams, right?
Yeah.
You have Matabuki, cool. The rest of the D line is just.
Well, you got Derek Wolfe back, right? Derek Wolfe's still there.
Derek Wolfe is there, but Derek Wolfe is another guy that is highly proficient on injuries.
Oh, okay.
But he let's say he plays. Okay, cool. He would be part of the rotation. You still need another one. You might be able to get one of the Georgia tackles, if you don't go first round center. But I think the O-line should be number 1, and then. Somebody was asking me about a corner, so I really don't want to see anybody less than 300 pounds being drafted in the first 2 rounds.
What about Edge? Isn't Edge like a sneaky pick? Because I know they got Owe, right? But Justin Houston's not there anymore.
He is. Edge could. I mean, because the other problem that the Ravens have for Edge is Bowser, which I love. You guys know I love. He might not have the flashy numbers, but I love Bowser. Well, he tore his Achilles week 15.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Was his 15 or
y'all
16?
got a Tyus Bowser replacement in the draft.
Yeah, 5th round. Yeah.
Boy ain't my fave. Boy ain't my fave. That's who y'all gonna
Okay.
get. Yeah, that's gonna be the replacement.
So Sonny, if Sauce or Stingley is there, you're saying like, nah, just pass on them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good with that.
Look,
I'm good. If that is the approach, I'm good with that.
As
Look.
a corner needy team, I am also good with that.
So this is the problem. This is what I like Sauce, what I seen. I haven't dipped like again. I'm not trying to scout corners this year that much. What I like McDuffie, it's a guy that I like a lot. McDuffie from Washington. I like him more than Sauce for what I've seen. Again, not deep diving. But I think you build the O line first. If you think, okay, we have to have Lamar Jackson, be good, be healthy. You build that O line. Then in the second round, you could go there. Now, if for some reason they can get a right tackle, let's say they get Brown, and then Bozeman's very attached to Baltimore. They bring back Bozeman. Bozeman was solid for us. He's not like an A-level center, but he's like a B. He's like a solid B. Then you might say, okay, now first round is open to either corner or D tackle. I still believe that D lineman either could be edge Tony or outside linebacker. Is a higher priority, but I can see them saying go corner because the Ravens love corners, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go first round corners.
Well, okay,
I can't hear you, Tony.
You just got cut off, Tony.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you now.
So Averett's gone, right? Averett's unrestricted free agent.
Yeah, he's gonna sign with somebody. I'm assuming, unless again he wants to be back, but not to be the third corner, right? Because he will be behind Peters and Humphrey.
And then I'm assuming Jimmy Smith is not.
Nah.
Yeah. Okay, so because it's interesting though with the Ravens where that was such a position of strength in years past because of the guys we just talked about, right? It wasn't just Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters that made them so good. It was the fact that they had Jimmy Smith, basically off the bench, and Tavon Young and Anthony Averett, right? Mm-hmm. So when you lose 3 of those 5 guys, I could see why certain fans want.
And corner. Tavon too, right? You're talking about Tavon's getting cut too, so
yeah, exactly. I could see. I understand why certain. I'm with you. Especially let's talk about Lamar for a second because, obviously he's under contract this year. He's got the 5th-year option, but I don't know. Are you worried at all about the contract situation yet, or is it too early to get worried?
It's weird. I know, Lamar doesn't have an agent, so the Costa almost alluded like I'm ready to sit down and talk. But when you obviously I've never been in a contract dispute like that, right? Big money. But let's say Lamar wants 50. And let's say the Ravens won 40. But for you to ask for the Ravens to ask for the Ravens to tell them this is why we think you're worth 40 instead of 50, they have to bring him down, right? Mm-hmm. But when you talk with an agent, right? Agents are used to that shit. Right. They're like, yeah, right. But now you're saying it to his mom. And those can get feeling hurt and that can snowball quickly. So that is a different situation. I don't know anything, man, about the Lamar contract. It's a very hard one to predict unless they're just so close to the number. But let's say they're 5 million apart and Lamar wants those 5 million and the Ravens are hard not to go to those 5 per year. Yeah. The only way is for you for the Ravens to say, well, this is why I don't think you're worth this much more, right? Yeah. And those are delicate situations when the mom, obviously, my mom will feel bad if people are talking bad about me, right? But an agent will be like, this is normal, right? Right. I understand. This is part of the negotiation. Mm-hmm. So it could get weird. It's just different. It's a different situation. So I don't know.
Do you think we get to week 1 without a contract?
I think so.
Wow.
Y'all living in a dangerous world.
Yeah, that's dangerous. I mean, look, it's not like they're going to lose him because they can franchise him forever, but
you can franchise him.
But you can franchise him forever, but like the way Lamar is handling this, I don't think he's going to be like, yo, I'm cool with being franchised next year. If you want 20, that's good, 20 million, 25 million on the franchise tag the first year.
It's
30.
probably a little more.
30, and then with the year after that, it turns in like 60 or something crazy like that, right?
It gets a
'Cause
little
it's like,
crazier. Yeah, I don't know what it'd be.
Yeah.
because you can't
Because
just
the Steelers did this with Le'Veon. Yeah.
you
It
can't
It's the
just
same
keep
thing they
doing
did
it.
with Kirk Cousins. It was like
Exactly.
the Kirk Cousins situation.
Yeah,
The
but
one
but now it's going to be even crazier just because the contracts have ballooned since the last time this has happened, right?
Yeah.
Like Aaron Rodgers got 50, Patrick Mahomes just got 50, and like I don't know what the Ravens are doing here. Just get the man the money. Like
Yeah,
I get it.
give
You
him
don't
the
want to
money.
feel like you get, but you are 2-5 without Lamar Jackson. You were 8-3 this year. He gets hurt. You don't win a game after that.
Right.
It's an obvious choice. Like you're not going to tell me. Like I heard the last offer was 30 million or something really
That's
low
insane.
like that.
That's disrespectful.
It's like,
bro.
last time
yeah,
I
and
heard
it's
was
like, what are
38.
you doing, dog? Just like
38. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
And-
I don't know what Kyler's about to get. Did
Right.
those numbers come out with Kyler? But like, if Kyler could get an extension right now, and
Kyler's
you-
going to reset the market. The numbers just going to keep going
well,
up.
I don't
and
think
that's
Kyler's going to
the-
reset the
No,
market.
I don't. You think
Yeah.
Kyler goes above 50? I don't know if anyone goes
He's not
above
going to
50.
go above
yet.
50.
I can see
Maybe
it be
Well, I
Lamar.
don't know. It's the
51.
Cardinals.
51. It'll be like 51 or something.
No.
It might be
But see,
51 for 1 year or
I
something like
thought
that. But
But here's the thing. Here's why I disagree. I thought that too. That every time a new contract would come out, it would just be higher and higher and higher. But then Josh Allen signed for less than Mahomes did.
43.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Because
that
he
that
ain't
kind of was
Mahomes.
interesting to me.
the
And
Mahomes
that's
is
even-
the bar.
that's-
Mahomes, like
Right.
it goes like this though. Like you don't want to, like, everybody thinks you want to be there the year like a big name quarterback goes out. You don't want to be getting your contract before you want to get your contract before Mahomes or Rodgers gets their contract, because then when you go into negotiation, teams are going to say, okay, that's the maximum.
Right.
Unless you have done more than Mahomes or Rodgers, you're not getting more than the maximum.
Yeah.
So
The floor is
and-
Josh
and-
Allen. I mean, it's
the
sitting
floor-
right there for them. It's Josh Allen, and he's in between Josh Allen and Mahomes, because you can go as Lamar's mom and
He's
say
closer to
Josh
him.
Allen didn't win an MVP.
yeah,
So
Right.
he's
you can
closer to
go up
Mahomes. He should
and
get the
say-
fifth.
No, he should get more than Mahomes now, because Mahomes was 2 years ago. I mean, we got cap inflation
That is
happening here,
true.
right? So you
That
could
is true.
argue that he should be in between Rodgers and Mahomes.
Right,
If
so-
I'm,
so
if I'm
They're
his
gonna
agent.
offer him.
Something that we need to
Look,
consider
if
here
the Ravens let Lamar walk, man, I'm ready for that.
So something that we need to consider, it might not even be the amount of money per.
It might be
It
years.
might be guarantee money, right? It might be that
Yeah,
Lamar
yeah, that's
says,
true.
you know,
Guarantee.
based on my style, I want to basically all guarantee. See, the problem is nothing has been leaked, and Lamar, for all intents and purposes, he looks very chill with this contract not going anywhere. Like he's been like, whatever, that's not me, whatever. Very, very unattached.
I think they
on-
underestimated him when he said he was going to negotiate this thing himself. They did not think that he was willing to play as hard as he is with it. Like, I think they thought it was like, okay, Lamar, we're gonna give you a little offer, then you're gonna do a counter offer, and then we're gonna handle this thing. I think they thought they were gonna steamroll him. He has proven to be a much more intelligent person than people give him
Yeah.
credit to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we have a couple super chats here. It says, everyone but Ace. Okay. What should Bengals do at tight end? They should
Absolutely
not get
not.
any-
They know
That's
what
the
I'm
position.
gonna do.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Check
gonna say,
my
if you
Twitter
follow
from a
Ace
couple
on
hours ago.
Twitter, yeah.
This is-
Is there a guy you like at tight end, Ace?
Yeah, a guy that is not Drew Sample. Like, I'm not passing up on guys when I got Drew Sample starting.
See,
right
and that's
now.
where Ace and I disagree. If you're asking me what the Bengals should do at tight end, I mean, I gotta like Drew Sample. I like him a lot.
I like you, Sam.
No, I will say this. Ojo,
Eric Ebron's available, by the way. I would love.
You can trade for Austin Hooper. You want Austin Hooper?
this is-
Oh my
The who?
goodness.
We'll take Tyler Boyd off your hands so you don't have to worry about that contract
That's right.
situation.
That is exactly what I texted them earlier. I was like, I do not want to Austin Hooper this situation. I do not want to just get a dude just to say I paid a tight end.
Why Austin Hooper your situation when you could just get Austin Hooper? That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, okay, so this is like if I was a Bengals fan in this situation, the tight end that I would like is more inline blocking tight end. It can block and it can leak out and have those like middle of the field catches, because Ozuma is a good tight end, right?
He's a free agent.
No, he's
though.
gone.
He's a free agent right
Yeah,
now.
but you can sign him back. I'm
Maybe
sure
hurt.
that's okay. So
I
I'm
know.
assuming that you bring Ozuma back, but I'm saying as a second tight end, I think because you have all the explosiveness on the wide receiving side and the Ozuma there on the kicking side, you know, for that middle of the field, Ozuma even can stretch the field, but inline blocking, they can catch, right? It won't break your bank, but it can help in terms of like a deep pass. You don't know if he's going in line to block, if he's gonna do block and release. I think that's the type of tight end that I think the Bengals should pursue. Now, if Azuma's not there yet, you want a little bit more dynamic. You don't have to go. I'm not saying that like a Travis Kelce. I know that he's not a free agent, but that type of tight end you don't want to get. But in the case of the Bengals, with the 3 receivers you have, it's not a need. You can get with a lesser tight end that can be your fourth weapon.
This is coming from a guy who has Mark Andrews.
Yeah. No,
I have Mark Andrews, but I don't have the 3 receivers you have, right?
Yeah.
Mark Andrews becomes one or two receiver in theory versus you have the 3 wide receivers. Go ahead, Tony.
Not to get off this topic real quick, but I do want to mention, we spent a whole 25 minutes talking about the Ravens, and we did not mention. How about this? We did not mention wide receiver. Not
I know.
Once. Are you? Wait, hold on.
No.
We don't. Okay, are you? Is that what are we there, Ravens fans?
I am
We're
there.
done?
I am there.
We're no longer making that excuse for Lamar. Are we out?
Well, I have not even scouted a single receiver. I haven't scouted much because I had health issues during the break. But I think the Ravens probably will get somebody in the middle of the draft somewhere.
Yeah. Well, they're going to trade Boykin, right? That was the rumor the other day.
They might. I mean, Boykin's, sure, for 7th round pick.
Why does everybody think
for a bag of chips or something?
Everybody just think you can just trade this dude you don't want no more.
Yeah.
We could not trade.
Hooper? I wish. Yeah.
We could not trade Trey Waynes for anything right now. We're gonna have
if you want to trade a player, he has to be good to be able to command guys. You don't want to trade players.
Yeah, so people tell me stuff like that all the time. Oh, we're gonna trade Boykins. Okay, sure. Somebody wants them? Okay, good.
They say like it's so easy. Yeah, we draft 2 wide receivers, trade Austin, and then sign somebody. Like trading Austin Hooper is a problem right now. He is like the 2nd highest paid tight end, and he's coming off 2 400-yard seasons. Like it's just dog. You can't trade some of these guys because they have no value. Right, like it's kind of like with quarterbacks, right? So you always want to trade your quarterback if he's not good. Don't mean somebody want to take him.
And here Noah Stone says LJ not worth 200 mil. If that's what he wants, trade it. Well, I will say this: he's worth a lot of money. What is that lot of money? 50 seems close to 50. I don't know 50, but close to like 48 probably.
How many games y'all gonna win without him?
There was a guy that said a couple of months ago when we talked about how much money that he was going to make, that the Ravens should probably listen to offers. If they're not comfortable with paying him that much, they might want to listen to it. And seeing like what Russell Wilson got, like you're going to get way more than that for Lamar. I honestly think Lamar is worth it. It would be a no-brainer to me. Like it wouldn't even be like drawn out like this. It would be like, all right, you're going to make whatever Josh Allen makes plus $2 million a year. Yeah, it's like a no-brainer for me. But if you are thinking about
the Mayfield deal right now, you want
because the thing that comes with paying the quarterback, and the Packers are about to go through this, is you're going to lose a lot of people. Like you're going to lose a lot of players just because of the nature of how much that quarterback is going to command, and you just have to know. And I feel like Lamar can do this. He has to be able to raise the talent of that team that has deficiencies. Andy Dalton couldn't do that. That's why we had to get out of there. That's why it was like, all right, now that we can't pay all of these other cornerstones of the franchise that made him look good, we have to get out of this deal. Lamar is a guy that's going to make you guys look good no matter what's around him. So I don't feel like he's in that situation. But a lot of people find themselves in that situation after you give them money, that it's like, oh, all of these good players that, were really good, we can't sign anymore. And that's where Baltimore is going to find themselves at. I feel like Lamar is worth that. But if you're in a position where you don't feel he's worth that, then the best thing that you can do is just try to trade for whatever you can get for him and get all of that value. Especially a guy like that, they're going to pay you handsomely for Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's still young. He's explosive. He's a former MVP. Like, it's going to be an astronomical amount that someone would pay you for him. But I personally think you guys should pay him. I don't even think you should drag this out.
Do you want to pay him $50 million and make the playoffs this year, or do you want to not pay him $50 million, trade him for a bunch of assets, be sorry for a couple of years, and hope you can get another Lamar Jackson?
It's tough.
It's just, is that the situation you want to be? The math is a lot easier with this situation where your quarterback is not like has that potential to win an MVP, right? When your quarterback is like, let me use a different name. Like, let's say this was Derek Carr, right? And Derek Carr wanted $50 million. And let's say Derek Carr was like a little bit better in his younger years than he was. Then all of a sudden that becomes a situation. You're like, okay, you might be able to find another Derek Carr, right? But as you get higher on that QB totem pole, you just got to keep the dude, because we saw last year, they could not win a game without him. And I know those were close games and they were against some good teams, but it's still, the record is what it is. The record has changed dramatically since he's gotten there. And it's been dramatic every game he's played. The difference what the Baltimore Ravens record was with him and without him. And that's the value. That's $50 million worth of value, right?
And it's the AFC. The AFC is loaded now. You can't chance it with the quarterbacks that are in the AFC now.
It is like, if you're the Ravens, you're a good enough team at drafting, albeit not at wide receiver, but like at other positions, to where, okay, if Lamar's making this much money, man, like you can figure it out with the draft and just keep reloading around him, right? Like, and just that's going to keep you in the race, right? You just need to make the playoffs in the AFC. But you know, if you don't have Lamar, it don't matter how good you are drafting. Like, you ain't gonna do nothing if you ain't got nobody that's that good at quarterback.
Right. I agree. Okay, before we keep going here, and shout out to everybody who's watching, make sure you like. If you haven't subscribe. Tony, tell us about our friends from Manscaped.
Of course, March Madness is here, and not everyone can have a perfect bracket, but you can have the perfect set of balls this tournament season with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming have just launched their ultra-premium collection to give you the total championship hygiene routine. After sweating out the games, make sure you lather up head to toe with this all-in-one skin and hair kit to have your body and balls smelling Final Four fresh. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use the code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word, for 20% off and free shipping. This is a Cinderella story you're not going to want to miss. When the clock winds down in March, be clutch and avoid the upset with the Manscaped Ultra Premium Collection to keep everything under control. We all know how essential the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 electric trimmer is for that precise trim below the waist. Their advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts on your basketballs. But now you can enhance your big dance in the shower with their ultra premium collection. This package includes Manscaped's premium deodorant. No, not for your balls, for your stanky armpits. This deodorant dries clear, it's aluminum-free, and smells like their signature scent. Their hydrating body moisturizer. If you have tattoos or issues with dry skin, it's designed to keep skin feeling clean, smooth, and smelling fresh. The Ultra Premium Collection also comes with their body wash to lather you up with their infused aloe vera and sea salt shower gel. Comes with a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner to clean your scalp in one easy step, plus a free gift. You get a 3-pack of lip balm that's made with ingredients such as vitamin E, peppermint, and eucalyptus oil to keep those chappers feeling moist. That's 4 products and a gift inside the Ultra Premium Collection. What a score. All these products are cruelty-free, paraben-free, vegan-free, and dye-free. The best ingredients with zero compromise. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code AFC North Talk. AFC North Talk, all one word, at manscaped.com.
We have the link below in the description. Also, I will say this. If you haven't, go check out our Patreon. That's another way to support us. We're going to be putting some betting videos. Tony's going to do betting 101s coming up. So if you don't know what a plus 135 means, minus 1.5 parlays.
We got it all. We got a whole bunch of gambling content. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing some of that.
Calvin Ridley.
Hey,
you might want to stay off this.
Hey, Cal, listen. Calvin's my dog.
Calvin don't need to be on
I'm a huge Calvin Ridley fan now.
That's kind of messed up though that he got a whole year suspended for doing FanDuel, and Stephen Ross has been reported to have told people to pay bonuses for losing, and they ain't done a single thing about that one. It's like, okay.
Listen, Calvin Ridley had the greatest tweet of all time. He said, "I only bet $1,500. I don't have a problem," which is the most relatable thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's like when you tweeted about betting about the Pro Bowl. You're like, look, man.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, I can stop whenever I want. It's fine.
It wasn't that you just betted on the Pro Bowl. He tweeted about it. He wanted people to know. He was
Hey
like,
guys,
"Yeah,
just so you know,
man,
I'm
I got this
on the
over."
under today. Yeah, that's right. That's
You
right.
took the under. I forgot you took the under on the Pro Bowl. I mean, it's the only way you gonna make money.
The Bengals were about to play in the Super Bowl. I was in a bad place.
Noah still here says, I want Gardner or McDuffie, Philo Husky, or DTDF. I like McDuffie. I haven't completely dove in neither of the corners, but the film that I seen from McDuffie, I think the kid is legit. Nobody talked to me about nothing from what just happened in
The combine?
I didn't watch. I don't know nobody's time. I usually don't care really because
You don't know any. All right, Sonny, I want to ask you a question then.
No, I had none.
Okay. There's a player in this draft that runs faster than Patrick Mahomes, that jumps higher than Jarvis Landry, who had a better broad jump than Odell Beckham Jr., who is 4 inches taller than Vince Wilfork. Who is that player? What position does he play?
If he's bigger,
Nobody help with chat. Don't help.
If he's bigger than Wilford, he has to be, and he's that athletic. It has to be like an outside linebacker, because the only O-line that was like freaky like that was, and he's a free agent this year, Armstead, that he played for New Orleans.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He was freakishly athletic when he came out, but that's not normal. Has to be like a O-way type of guy. I couldn't tell you the player.
You're gonna go edge.
I'm gonna go, outside linebacker. Yeah.
Jordan Davis at 340 pounds.
Way.
6.
I did what you say. That dude is amazing. That guy, and I'll be happy. I'll be happy with Davis. I
won't be happy if the Ravens get Jordan Davis. I don't need that in my life. Only team in the AFC North you want him to be on is your team. Everybody else, it's a problem, dog.
Not fun.
Cleveland draft before us. A pick before.
Yeah, somebody gonna do it. I feel like it's one of us.
I would love Davis. Yeah. Oh, damn. I didn't know. So he was, again, I don't watch the combine. I learned a while ago after Perriman and a couple other dudes to burn the Ravens.
What was his 10-yard split, Tony? Was it like 162?
Yeah, let me just pull up his entire RAS card.
By the way, he has a similar 10-yard split to TJ Watt and Myles Garrett.
Yeah, his
What?
That's an inside guy.
Yeah.
What was
the broad
340-pound DT?
Yeah, the broad jump being the same as Odell Beckham Jr. is just insane.
Yeah,
he is a freak of nature. That dude is a freak of nature. Bro.
He jumped further than Odell.
Both of those guys from Georgia, right? Like
Devontae Wyatt. There's the other dude. Oh my god,
there are 3 of them. I'm blanking.
Georgia, and I legitimately say this, and I'm not like a big the college team can play in the NFL, but Georgia's defensive line has more first round picks last year than like any NFL team has on their roster right now. They have 6 of them on that team that could be first round picks because they got 4 this year and they got 3 coming next year. Yeah. And then let's not even add the second round guys. Jermaine Johnson's going to be picked in the first 2 rounds of this draft. He had to leave Georgia last year because he couldn't play. Like, it's ridiculous how much they had there. Kirby Smart can recruit defense.
D-lineman, I love D-lineman play. That will get me excited. I would like to compare to see what was Donald's coming out.
And similarly freaky.
They have a site now. You can compare 2 players. Yeah, I'll put him in.
I know his 10-yard split was like 161 or something like that.
The thing is, Donald was small.
Yeah, but Donald was shorter. He wasn't. He didn't have 35-inch arms. Like it's just ridiculous. Like, how does this dude exist? How does his knees like not buckle every time he does?
Just come to the Ravens.
You remember, by the way, my favorite thing about Aaron Donald is at the combine they wanted him to try out at linebacker.
Oh wow!
That's how you knew he should have went number 1 overall in that draft. Where you're like, yo, this D tackle who should play linebacker. Oh, okay, yeah. That tells you everything you need to know about if that dude's gonna be good or not.
That's like the bad takes that these guys, these draft analysts and experts used to have, where it was like every quarterback needs to be 6'5" and all of this and that.
Right.
And it was like the undersized DTs, like the Geno Atkins and the Aaron Donalds, who they tried to say couldn't play the position, and those guys end up dominating. Yep. So I'm so glad that narrative is going because it actually made Donald slide in the first round. It was like, oh, he's too small.
13.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, and the tape was incredible. But with Donald, it's one of those things where you catch yourself when you say something like that, right? It's not meant to be a positive, but the ideal that you can think that about Aaron Donald tells you everything you need to know about that. Like, if you think this dude can really stand up and play linebacker, he's that athletic, but he's just short for the defensive line, you're telling yourself, oh, this is one of the greatest. Like, come on now. Like, it's one of those things where we fool ourselves into believing something. It's like with Malik Willis. If Malik Willis is in next year's draft class, we all agree he's probably a second round pick, right?
No, he would get talked into the first round. He's Josh
Oh, yeah,
Allen.
you're all in on the Malik Willis, but I think
I think that he. I think we.
well, somebody would talk
right?
him in late first round, like Jordan Love, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he would get talked into the
Jordan
first
Love
round.
level.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Probably
whatever
should
class
draft
you
that
put him in,
dude
he's a
top
first
10.
round pick.
Well,
You probably should draft that dude.
Thank you, Packers, for drafting Jordan Love over T. Higgins. I
Yeah,
appreciate
by
it.
the way,
We appreciate that.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
They traded up for that too. Terry Grandy here says, I
Gotta
wanted
get that
Ryan
fifth year.
Jensen to come back home to the Ravens. And Terry, I don't think that will happen. He's probably
He's being rumored to the Bengals. I don't know.
I
That's
wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't.
Someone's going to pay him big boy money. I mean, the contract he's going to get is going to be over
It's gonna
14
be-
mil a year.
13, 13, 14.
Off subject too, I just thought about why in the world are people still trading for Carson Wentz when you can just sign Jameis Winston, right? Like, Jameis Winston had 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions this year. He had the same fluky good year, but for half the year that Carson Wentz had. People still out here trading for Carson Wentz. You might as well sign Jameis. It's going to be the same result.
But Dan
Snyder, it's not people. We got to put a name to it.
Oh, okay, yeah, my bad.
I mean, it's
Dan Snyder.
Yeah.
Okay, why is anybody, like, you know how many draft picks them been wasted to get Carson Wentz on their roster?
Wow.
The Philadelphia Eagles traded a bunch of them to get them from the Browns. Not like we did anything with them. And then what? The Colts traded a first to get him. He's the new Trent Richardson, where like everybody just giving up a bunch of draft picks to get this dude
true,
that they don't even want on the roster.
It's true.
And it's always Indy that trades for him.
The problem with Winston, he blew his knee, right? And
Who? What? Trent?
Winston blew his knee, yes.
Yeah, he blew his knee out. Yeah,
That's
but
the
still,
biggest problem.
like, it's a quarterback. Like, you don't really care about that for a quarterback.
Well, the one thing I was gonna say for Ryan Jensen.
Hey, no
would
spam
rather
and chat. You're
have
getting
Mitchell
timed out. Just an
Trubisky.
FYI. Wow.
I would rather go after Mitchell Trubisky in free agency than keep throwing the bag at Carson Wentz. Like, come on, man. How many times does this dude need to tell you? And here's the thing: people like Mitch. Like, people agree. Hey, man, I don't know how good he is, but they like him. Ain't nobody like Carson Wentz. They got rid of him after they lost the first round draft pick to get him in a year where he played okay. You know how bad, you know how much a locker room doesn't have to like you to get to that point?
Yeah.
Dude, the coach went to the owner right after the season.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
And then you traded him to the team that has Heineke. And look, I don't know much about Heineke, but I do know Heineke, one of them dudes the locker room likes, right? Like, they get behind Heineke.
The hype,
Man, that's just one of the most dysfunctional situations in the NFL. I'm calling it right now. That ain't going to end well for both of them. Carson Wentz going to get released off that roster within week 6. I don't know if they even trade Heineke at that point. You kind of got to.
I mean,
who's worse though, them or the Colts? Because the Colts have been through like 6 quarterbacks. And like
But they was at
past
least
6
smart enough to
seasons.
get rid of Carson Wentz. It's one thing to watch what Carson Wentz did and be like, yo, I need that. I need that on my team. I'll give you 2 third rounds.
it's credit to the 30 other teams who stayed out of it altogether, right?
That's
They're
where
both
the real
bad,
credit is, right? We're in
Credit to all
agreement.
30 of you who didn't do this.
They're both bad for making this deal because one of you, why should do this? They could have just signed him. He was going to get cut.
Let's just say hypothetically, the Colts turn around and trade for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Which
Well, at least people like Jimmy Garoppolo, though. I think the issue was like you was getting all that mediocre quarterbacking for a dude that
Darius Leonard liked him. It seems like Darius Leonard might have liked him.
Dude, you know the sad thing is Carson Wentz will be one of the reasons the Colts cannot even attempt to trade for like a Deshaun Watson because they don't have a first round pick.
They should have waited, man.
Yeah, because if they didn't make the trade for Wentz this year, they could have had a first round pick, and they could legit say because remember Watson has a no trade clause, so Watson can kind of move around and say that's the team I want. The Colts have
but it can't be the Colts because they're in the same division. It can't be the Colts.
Look, man.
I know what you're saying, Sonny, but it can't be the Colts.
Nobody deserves any credit in this whole situation because when they traded for Carson Wentz, it wasn't like Carson Wentz had an okay year that year. They traded for Carson Wentz after he had one of the worst advanced statistical years of all time, right? They were betting on that being different. They were like, yo, this dude in Doug Peterson's offense stink. Let's trade him to another dude who runs Doug Peterson's offense.
It was because of Frank Reich, right?
Yeah, it was Frank Reich, right? I mean, he knew him personally. I will actually forgive Frank Reich because like, I know what I'm getting. Yeah,
he knew him personally, and he still traded for him. I don't see that as a plus. I see that as a negative. You knew homeboy, and you went for this. Like,
you can see both ways. Glass half full, glass half empty. I mean,
it would be better if you did it, but they cut him. It's like Frank Wright was like, "Yeah, he's exactly who I remember him being. He's got to go." Why did you trade for him?
Okay, so and then here we have Noah Stone real quick. Tom Brady. Of course, Noah Stone cannot go a show without mentioning Tom Brady. Tom Brady never asked for most money won. Other QB grades.
He never asked to be the highest paid quarterback.
QB.
Yeah, he also had a wife who was a multi-millionaire. So
he didn't come from like a poor family. Like Tom's money was always Tom's money. Like other people are in situations where their money is feeding like entire families. Like okay, so it's a different situation.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Now Aaron Rodgers.
Can we talk about Aaron real quick?
Because Aaron Rodgers' money ain't going to his family.
It's the greatest tweet of all time. Aaron Rodgers is signing a new 4-year, $200 million contract, which will lower his cap hit. Is my favorite tweet of all. He's making record money, $50 million a year, and it will lower his cap hit so that they can make all the moves they need to.
I like how he was like, it's a lie. It's not $200 million over 4 years. There's a couple void years in that.
Yeah, there's like 9 void years on there. Come on, now. You forgot about the 9 void years at the end.
But what I was gonna say, regardless that Giselle was a multimillionaire, none of us, even if our wives would make a bunch of money, none of us would leave money on the table. Most people. Now, would I want Lamar to say, hey, let me make less? Yeah, everybody here would like for all their players to say, let me make less so they can get more players. Would I?
Everybody like to say that they want to do that until they're in the situation where they look at $50 million in the face per year.
But if it was me, I wouldn't leave money in the table.
And then also you got to think about when Tom really got into contract negotiations, like what his last 10 years of his career, he was secure. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's going to make more money outside of football than he would inside of football for the rest of his life anyway, just by the pure virtue of being Tom Brady and now having more time on his hands. Like, he did not need the money from the Patriots at all because he was always going to be able to make money outside of it.
Not only that, this will be Lamar's first contract, right?
And like Lamar's projected career span ain't as long as Tom Brady's is going to be, right? Like Tom Brady had 20 years in the NFL. Lamar, people looking at him like he might have 10, and like you can be happy if you get 10 out of him because he runs so much. We'll see how long his longevity is, but he can't look at it like, oh, I'm going to be around for 25 years.
And that probably is why the Ravens are a little reluctant to pay him too, right? Because when we talk about all the guaranteed money that gets thrown in these, I mean, I think it goes both ways, right? Lamar's saying, hey, I may not be around for 15 years, and the Ravens are saying, hey, you may not be around for 15 years, so we're not going to, we're not going to pay you all this money.
The Ravens are probably like, we'll give you 2 years, $50 million. He's like, I want 10.
The whole Lamar thing.
I want that Joe Flacco Super Bowl money.
I would say this: it hasn't gone ugly, right? Like Lamar's not there pounding like we've seen before.
He's not deleting his Raven stuff from his.
I don't know. There was that report that he's not even answering their calls anymore when they call.
Well, that's just Lamar though. Like Lamar's always been hard to contact in the offseason. Like he out there in Florida doing stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
my only thing is when you get guys like, and I think some quarterbacks do that, right? Like they eventually take the money and then they do things like Dak this season with restructuring, right? Like that's their way of taking less money. But my thing is when Aaron Rodgers gets out there and complains like, oh, we're not bringing anyone in. And it's like, they can't do that because of your money. Like you're the reason that they can't go out and get those guys. And then you're complaining and then you're like, pay me even more money.
To Aaron's defense, he has taken less money before. And his gripe was when I took less money, y'all didn't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Y'all weren't keeping anybody. And that's the thing, right? We can say, oh, you save this money with the quarterback, they're going to spend it everywhere else. That's an obvious assumption, but that doesn't always happen. Even you look at Tom Brady, where they really spend that extra money at? when it comes to time. Like
I
they
had
kept
no
some
idea.
dudes, but they let a lot of dudes go. They always had cap space.
Yeah.
You know, the only year they took advantage of their cap space was when he wasn't on the roster. So I mean, like, yeah, he saved
They
them
had
cap
Randy
space for that many
Moss,
years.
Wes
But let's
Welker.
be
Well,
realistic.
they
Did they
signed
win
Gilmore the
7
one
Super
year.
Bowls because they had Tom Brady under $20 million, or did they win 7 Super Bowls because they had Tom Brady? I don't think that number really changes if you give them more money.
Yeah. I mean, the
Tom
Patriots were
Brady.
definitely notorious for not paying players. Like they would let guys like go after that. I think like when he took the less money for like Randy Moss, it's just ironic that when he did that they lost. But I remember like Randy Moss and Wes Welker, that was the year that they actually did something with it. But yeah, you're right. They did it. They really didn't spend like that in free agency. When
That's part of his frustration on why he left the Patriots was he didn't feel like they were doing enough around him with the money that he was saving them, and that's why he went to Tampa Bay because they had a lot around him, and all he had to do was fit his contract in. So yeah. Did they win a lot of Super Bowls because Tom Brady was taking less money? Yeah, but let's not act like it wasn't Tom Brady that was the reason that they won. You could have paid Tom Brady $40 million. You probably would have won 6 Super Bowls.
Yep. Alstrom here says, Ace, why don't you and Zim like the Tunsil trade?
The cost is $18 million. Like for me, $18 million compared to Lyle Collins, who's $10 million a year. I don't think that there's an $8 million a year difference between those two players. And with you going into free agency, you're going to have to pay a lot. Like if you were to have to go into free agency, you're going to pay like 25, 26 million for one of those tackles. So for me, it's more so about trading for a guy like Lyle Collins where the value is there because it's 10 million. He's 28 years old. He's better than anybody that you have, instead of taking on that 18 million, because that's 8 million that can't go to someone else. So for me, that's why it's more so about that for me with Tunsil over.
Not only that, you want to pay Tunsil for playing left tackle?
No, for right tackle, because he likely would be right tackle.
Okay, so
that
doesn't make sense right there.
You
because
Jonah Williams, you're not gonna move Jonah?
I mean, Jonah has never played right tackle, and it's like
I don't think Tunsil either, right?
It's kind of in the I don't think Tunsil had. He started off as guard, and then I think he finally did play some left. But I would think that they would probably keep Jonah at left because Jonah, for the most part, last year was his first full season. He missed his rookie season. You know, his second season he got hurt. So last year was kind of him getting comfortable. I think the last thing you want to do is move him for a person that isn't like, you know, just used to left tackle. Now, if you're getting Trent Williams, and this is a guy that's played left tackle his whole career, but the fact that Laramie has already played it and Jonah hasn't, I would think that they would put Laramie at right tackle and keep Jonah at left.
Yeah, so going with Ace, right? The thing I would say, Lyle Collins has played right tackle. He's played left tackle, but with the Cowboys, he was his starting right tackle. I know last year he had some injuries.
He played some guard too, so I feel like he's a better, and he's played in the scheme as well. Like I'm not saying that Tunsil can't play in the zone blocking scheme, but if there is a learning curve there, that's something that you got to consider as well.
Yeah, and then here Terry with Super Chat says Alejandro Villanueva is retiring from the NFL. Yep. Okay, so Big Andy.
I mean, I think we beat that. You know, we got those jokes in during the regular season. I think now that he's retired, like he had a great. He actually did have a really good career though. I mean, we consider that he was like a converted tight end to tackle.
Yeah,
the fact that he like had career. It was 7-8 years.
Starter pretty much every year to the Steelers Ring of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, listen, not only for what he did as a Steeler, but
okay, so you, as the other team, that did not make the playoffs in the AFC North, what do you think the Browns are looking to do in this free agency period?
Let me say it with you. Say it with me, y'all. 1 year deal mania, baby. We giving out 1 year deals on that offensive side of the ball. You want to come here and play wide receiver, Allen Robinson? Come take 1 year, $8 million. We'll do it for 1 year, $8 million. Look, the Browns aren't going to be big players, I think, in day one and day two of free agency. They're going to be waiting for guys who thought they were going to get big deals and ain't going to get big deals. So your Juju Smith-Schusters, your Allen Robinsons, the guys who are young want to enter free agency as soon soon as possible, but also might not have the value that they thought they were going to have going into last season. So 1 year deal mania. I got a list of guys. I think I went over it on my channel where I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be who they're going to go after. I think Juju makes a ton of sense for the Browns. Whether that's a mutual agreement there, hey, we'll see. But it's a fit. It is a fit. It is an offensive fit. I mean, they're both kind of similar players in Jarvis Landry. It's just, he's Juju Smith-Schuster, and people still got them TikToks in their mind. But
are they cutting Landry or are they keeping Landry?
It's looking like a cut situation.
Okay.
You don't want to restructure, so they're going to have to let him go. That's going to clear up $14 million on the
Okay.
cap. They just took 11 out for David Njoku for the franchise tag, and apparently, the report is they want to keep Austin Hooper.
I heard that. Yeah, they like him.
Yeah, I
Him
don't
and
know.
Njoku together with the franchise tag. Let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna pay $22 million for probably 800 yards of production, which is awesome. But Odell was overpaid. Let me stop.
Stop. You have to let it go.
No, Sonny. I will be petty for the rest of the year if we keep Austin Hooper, but let Jadeveon Clowney walk for free agency over money, because I'm like, yeah, every Austin Hooper drop is a sack that Jadeveon Clowney could have got, but we didn't want to spend the money because we wanted to keep his sorry ass on the team. But here we are. Yeah, it's going to be 1 year deals. They're probably going to try to get guys at the end, probably going to try to get another veteran to replace Clowney. Going to be a very unexciting free agency. They spent a lot of money the last 2 years, and now they're in a situation where they have a quarterback in the last year of his deal. And textbook, you don't really want to go all in if you have a quarterback you don't even know if you want to re-sign. And let's be honest, if Baker comes out and plays well this year, he's going to get franchise tag. And then after that year, you're going to figure out if you want him long-term. So you're 2 years away from knowing if you actually want to keep this dude long-term, or a season away from knowing if you don't. So why commit to anybody in the receiving side of the game for long-term? I don't know. So I don't think they're going to do it. It doesn't make much sense for the Cleveland Browns. They're going to probably get somebody in the third, fourth round, but they're going to prioritize building around the defense because they have that core set. Myles Garrett going to be there. They have him under contract for a long time. So I would just focus all your long-term assets on building around that defense, and then figure out the offense when you figure out the quarterback.
I know you talk about wide receiver, and that makes a ton of sense.
You cut out, Tony.
Cut out again.
Yeah,
Right,
I know.
so you're saying
my mic situation. Yeah, I think the wide receiver you were talking about makes, targeting wide receiver. Obviously, that room needs to be added to. But when you talked about Clowney, I keep hearing this from Browns fans. This idea that it's inevitable that Clowney is not back. Why? I mean, I thought he had a good year last year with them. I mean, everything that they kind of you thought would happen when you put him
as
alongside.
of right now. Here's the thing with Clowney, right? As of right now, it doesn't look good because he wants to test free agency. Now, the question with Clowney is what's actually his value in free agency, right? Like, I think he's overestimating his value because I think he thinks that he's going to get a Clowney deal, but he's 29. He's had injury history, one healthy year, but that's not going to do enough to convince teams to go long term. And then what are the type of teams that can really offer you anything that you would help for at your age? It's not a lot of teams, right? It's teams that want to win right now. So either he wants to win right now, but even then he said that he likes this Browns defense and his role in it, or he could re-up for another 1 year deal here. I don't think that one's done either. I think he's going to be the same situation the rest of the Browns free agent targets are going to be in. We're going to let you get your first offer from somewhere else. But if you don't like that offer, hey, man, 1 year deal right here. Andrew Berry going to hand out them 1 year deals. And that's what the Browns are on, the 1 year deal mania.
Gotcha. So it's more of a thing of like Clowney probably wants a multi-year deal, and the Browns are like, hey, we'll bring you back for one more.
Yeah, it's probably like, and they're probably, if it's a multi-year deal, they're far apart of money because they don't want to pay him like he's 26-year-old Jadeveon Clowney, right? They want to pay him like he's 30-year-old Jadeveon Clowney. So
right,
it's money years. We'll see. I think this whole thing's going to get revisited after like the third week of free agency when we're like, okay, you didn't get the deal you thought you were going to get. What's up now, Clowney? Like, you want to talk again? I think they'll be open to that. The door's not closed by any means, but he thinks he's going to get a deal from another team, which is what his agents have been kind of putting out there.
Have you heard this rumor that the Browns are looking at potentially releasing Treader?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I saw that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Cap casualty.
Well, and Nick Harris played well last year. I mean, Conklin could be gone too if he wasn't injured. Because the young guy they took last year played pretty well.
Yeah, Hudson.
Yeah, James Hudson. So they they have solutions there, right? There's a reason why 3 of those guys are signed and 3 of those guys are not. Well, 2 of those guys are not, right? Because they have plans for those 2 players to replace them. So if that happens sooner than later, look, maybe they think they're going into a rebuild. They don't really trust this whole Baker Mayfield bouncing back after the labrum thing, and they just think, hey, we're just going to rebuild right now, real quick, hit the soft reboot for 2022, and get reloaded for 2023.
Interesting.
Hey, Tony.
What's happening?
Your off season's gonna be different because there's no Big Ben, right? There's possibilities of Mitch, Draft, Heineke, and any other mediocre quarterback that Tony can convince you guys
exactly
that they're to get hype about. And is Juju coming back? Or you have Mapletron as your number 1 next year?
Deontay's number 1. Do you guys remember the first time? You guys remember when we were kids, right? Obviously, kids nowadays, they just download the video games they want to play, so they don't remember this. But like, do you remember the first time your parents took you to GameStop in the mall, and like the walls are just filled with every video game you could possibly want, and oh my God, I can have any of these. I could pick. I mean, I don't know what I'm going home with today. I have no idea. That's how I feel as a Steeler fan going into this offseason. It's like my parents just took me to GameStop for the first time. I don't know this feeling. When you go into a regular Steeler offseason, the Steelers have the same thing every year. They have no money and no desire to spend the money they do have, right? I mean, it's just the same kind of, we go into the offseason every year and it's like, who are they going to get this year? And it's like, oh yeah, they got Derek Watt on a $2 million a year deal to play special teams. Like that's their big free agency haul. Or, who was it last year? That was their big free agent signing last year. Joe Haig. Joe Haig, guys. I mean, it's just that's what the Steelers do this year. Steeler fans, we're convincing ourselves. J.C. Jackson? Could they get J.C. Jackson? Could they actually wait? Ryan Jensen they got $30 million in cap space. Ryan Jensen, he wants $14 million. I mean, that's nothing. What quarterback could they get? Any of them? I mean, we were talking ourselves into Aaron Rodgers a week ago. Today, we're talking ourselves into Deshaun Watson. I have no idea. I think, realistically though, while all this stuff is finally like it's possible that this could happen, I don't expect it. I mean, I know Steeler fans are like we're all talking ourselves into J.C. Jackson and Bobby Wagner and Ryan Jensen or Teron Armstead or any of these guys, Brandon Schreff. I don't think any of those guys are realistic. What I expect from the Steelers this offseason is to have a typical Steeler offseason, but just more of the typical, right? They always go for those kind of, they'll pick and choose, right? You'll get an Eric Ebron, you get a Mike Mitchell. I think they're going to get a couple, 3 or 4 Mike Mitchell, Eric Ebron type deals. I don't expect them to be involved in like a $15 million a year deal for a player. The highest they've ever given in free agency to a player was Steven Nelson. That was $8 million a year. Are they going to go higher than that this year? I would like them to. I mean, yeah, if they got J.C. Jackson, am I going to be hyped up? Am I going to come on here in 2 weeks and get all hyped up because J.C. Jackson is a Steeler and we got J.C. and Minka in the same secondary? Oh, you damn right I am. I just don't know if that's actually going to happen. I think, look, there is – you look over this roster, there is not a single position on the roster where you would say that the Steelers don't need to at least add someone. Right now, running back, tight end, edge rusher, you would say, well, they don't really need starters at those, and I agree. But they probably need, do I want to watch Benny Snell again? Or do I want to watch Najee run for another 350 times this year and the wear and tear in his body? No, right? I think even tight end, I think he's the second one. An edge rusher that, they already they proved last year. Like they could have used a third one in Melvin Ingram. He just didn't want to be there. So, yeah, I think, look, Steeler fans should definitely keep an eye on their phones right now. I mean, I'm constantly checking Twitter on this show. Are they going to trade for Deshaun Watson while we're live on AFC North Talk? Maybe. Again, that's what's so fun about this offseason. I don't know. Maybe. Sean King says they are.
Tony, you seem like you can't contain yourself.
Because, like I said, I'm at GameStop for the first time in my entire life. Okay, now listen. When Dad tells me I have to go home with Mason Rudolph, like I'm not going to be happy about it. But there was a possibility. I was going. Listen, we're about to have. We're about to have Deshaun Watson.
For a moment, there was hope.
My dad used to do this thing where he'd be like, "Yeah, let's go see what they talk about with that new PlayStation." Right? We go there. I'm like, I might get the new PlayStation. Oh my God, my eyes are so big. And then he find out what the price was. He's like, "Oh no, we leaving." And that's gonna be how Steeler fans feels. Like,
and then maybe that's how it is, and that's fine because you know what? I'm living in the moment of like right now. We might leave.
So you're saying what can happen to you is what happened to me. That my parents actually saved money and God bless them and got me a PS2, right? And then I got it, and that was my first console. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, what do I do with this? I have no games. It took me a month to save $20. And I went to GameStop and I told the guys like I have $20 and he said there's the use area. So I just went and picked a used game and I have fun.
Oh, I love this analogy because you know what it is? It's the idea that the Steelers do kind of load up, but they don't get any quarterbacks, right? So it's like, oh my goodness, why did they get J.C. Jackson and Ryan Jensen if you're gonna play Mason Rudolph at quarterback? I don't care who's the center and who's the corner. If Mason Rudolph, I gotta watch. And then in the draft,
Gotta compete. You
know going up for Malik Willis. By the way, when we start talking drafting, I mean this is once again year 3 of just the most boring draft for the Steelers of all time. As it is like blatantly obvious that they love Malik Willis. And it's not a question of if they're going to draft him. It's a question of if they're going to go up and get him. Because I think he probably doesn't last to 20. And so they're going to have to go up and get him. But
Malik Willis is interesting because I don't like any of his tape, but everything else outside of his tape, I'm like, you know what? I like this dude, right? Like you'll just see clips of him at the combine, just like helping out the homeless. Like, just like you saw that clip?
Yeah.
Where he just like he stopped he was at the combine. He had his like sweatsuit on. He had his bag, and then like he saw a homeless dude and just like went in, got catering from the combine, and then gave it back to this dude who was just sitting outside of the stadium. I'm like, this seems like a really upstanding, nice guy that people gonna love in the locker room. I just don't know if he's good.
Well, listen, his tape, a lot of his tape, I would say probably 65-70% of his tape is straight up not good. But you know, Stephen Ruiz of The Ringer was on a podcast, and he kind of convinced me of this. Where he's like, look, stop judging quarterbacks in college on their processing, right? Oh, that was a bad decision. That's the thing that translates to the National Football League the least, right? When you think about what went wrong, why did we get Josh Allen so wrong, right? Why did the draft community, you remember Josh Allen when he was drafted 10th overall? I mean, there was draft community guys who were like, this guy should be a 4th round pick. This is going to be a disaster of all disasters, right? Their mental processing isn't there. He's just a height, weight, speed guy at quarterback. And he ends up being right now, he's a top 5 quarterback because right now in the National Football League, it has never been easier to play quarterback. And so if you just draft a guy on tools, if you just draft a guy like Mahomes or Josh Allen or Justin Herbert, right? Just draft a toolsy guy. Right now, it's you can make those guys work. You might have to put them in like, a special system for a little bit to get them along. But the more I think about Willis and the way the National Football League is right now with quarterback play, the more I buy myself into, I don't want to bet low. Forget the floor. I don't care. I know that the floor for Willis is really, really low and that the floor for Pickett is really, really high. I don't care. What's the ceiling? Because I know what the ceiling is on Pickett. It's Kirk Cousins. The ceiling on Malik Willis is Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So give me the ceiling. Forget about the floor.
I just remember why Tony is starting to fall in love with Malik Willis. You know one of Tony's favorite quarterbacks of all time is, right?
Cordell Stewart.
Yep.
I mean, listen, Cordell was. Here's the thing about Cordell. Cordell played at the wrong time. I mean, the problem for Cordell Stewart wasn't that he was like a terrible quarterback. It was that he just
played in the wrong era.
Yeah, he played in the wrong era. Yeah, exactly. Run it back. Oh yeah,
Tony's like, give him 10. Like that was Cordell's number, right? 10.
It was 10. Yeah. Well, he can't have 7. Malik Willis has 7. He can't have 7.
Well, yeah, he ain't gonna wear that.
7 is taken.
What if he did?
Yeah. So, but to put a bow on this, Sonny, like I think, this is the most interesting Steeler offseason of my life. They have the most cap space they're going to have forever, and they could do anything they want with it. I mean, every position on this roster is pretty much open. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do next week. Not just next week, like for the next month.
Yep.
The Steelers could go all in on the championship in 2 weeks, or they can go all in on the tank bowl. Like I've never seen it where it's just like, hey man, we could do 1 or 2.
Exactly. Yeah, and I would put them at like equal percentage chance, right? You would say like, well, there's an equal percentage chance that they just go out there and like they make the Watson trade, or they just do nothing and they just like we're gonna run it back with Mason Rudolph.
If the Steelers decide they're gonna stink this year to try to get one of them quarterbacks, do you just tell Mike Tomlin to take a leave of absence for a year?
Yeah,
but then you got Brian Flores on the coaching staff too. It's going to be impossible for this team to go below 500 off of coaching alone.
This is an interesting topic. It's a bit of a derail, but like I have been trying to Like, how do you guys square what happened with the Steelers this year? Because every time I think back on the team, like, man, they were so bad. I mean, like,
I know.
you
I
think about,
don't even know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know how they made the playoffs. Like,
thank you. That's what I think. I keep.
Yeah, I mean, either.
So I keep thinking, like, man, was that really the floor? Like, is that really because I don't think this roster is going to be worse, right? I mean, I think they're going to upgrade the offensive line. They're going to upgrade the defensive line. They're going to upgrade at linebacker. They're going to upgrade at corner in a lot of ways. So,
bro, you got the two dudes.
Is 9-7 really the floor? It can't be, right?
You have the two dudes in the NFL who have refused to only win 6 games ever in their career on your defensive staff. And you got TJ Watt. You win at 8 games. Like, that just is what it is. Whether you win 9 is the question.
With Mason though?
Didn't he go?
Well, that was an elite defense, though. That was an elite defense.
Yeah.
They don't have that defense anymore.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I don't put it past Mike Tomlin.
Well, they wouldn't. I think based what Q's saying, even if you guys are bad,
because you could just win games in the NFL sometimes just because you're competent.
Right.
The Steelers are always going to be competent.
That's 2021. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's just the fact of it. And the Steelers will get those wins because they're competent at the end of the day. Like, it's hard for that team to be. They have spots of incompetence, right? You can talk about the Chase Claypool thing, but they won't be overwhelmingly incompetent. And that's going to get them like they beat the Browns 2 times this year just because they were competent and the Browns weren't. Like, they didn't play especially well. Well, they did play well in that second game, but the Browns were extra incompetent in that game. But it's just.
Let's not forget Lamar. Can we throw Lamar in that conversation too and talk about his first game against the Steelers this year?
Oh, they lost?
Yeah, the bailout interception to start that game. I mean,
I forgot. The Ravens didn't win very many divisional games this year, did they?
No.
I believe the Ravens lost to the Steelers and then didn't stop losing. They just couldn't stop. They were like, they liked it too much.
They got 2 of them.
Get those jokes in now. So
I listen. You're absolutely right.
They got swept by 2 teams.
I here I agree with you saying it's gonna be hard. Think about this. Can we acknowledge as of right now, before free agency really kicks in, the hardest division right now, AFC West, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't say that until I see what the Raiders do.
Whoa! But right now,
with Derek Carr in there.
Yeah, I mean, but think about they're the 4th, right? They're the 4th.
Yeah, I guess so.
But look at this, and who has the Raiders next year?
Well, I like what Tony said when they
team.
traded for Khalil Mack. He's like, "Yo, it's gonna be interesting to see how the Chargers miss the playoffs this year."
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
Right now,
they got Khalil Mack, Bosa, and a franchise quarterback. They're gonna find a way to miss the playoffs.
So right now, against the AFC West, right, which is the toughest, so the Bengals get the Chiefs, right?
Yep.
Tony and the Steelers.
Oh, yeah. We love the Chiefs.
Steelers get
the
Raiders.
They got a pretty easy schedule. The Steelers do.
Q gets the Chargers, and we get the
Russell. You got Russ?
Russell Wilson.
We get Russ. In them.
Oh yeah, because they finished in last place.
They did.
You got third. You were third, Q. So.
No, I'm saying, like, I was like, how did y'all get the Chargers? Well, how did y'all get the Broncos?
Broncos.
Like,
yeah, Broncos finished last. So it's gonna be interesting. I think the Steelers cannot tank like a Jacksonville will tank. But what can happen is the Steelers can win 6-7 games, and then they will have to trade the farm to get that first pick from Jacksonville, because Jacksonville's about to get the first overall pick again. There's no questioning in my mind. They're about to be first overall.
That's how a lot of teams do it, right? I mean, like, Mahomes was traded up for. I mean, a lot of those top guys, you end up moving up to get them.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so before we finish, we haven't talked about the winner of the division. The
winner of the AFC.
And the winner of the AFC.
And they came so damn close to winning the Super Bowl, man. One half a second away from getting there. Almost had it. Ace was in the building, dog. That would have went through. Oh man, that would have been.
Oh, I would have missed work the next day. I got on the flight. That flight wouldn't have been made.
Oh yeah, and then Valentine's Day right after, you would have double dipped in the championships, man. But hey, man, one's good,
Yes, sir. So,
what are you looking?
You got
for?
the ring that counts.
Right, exactly.
Jensen has been linked to you.
There's been a lot of people linked to the Bengals this offseason. This is kind of new waters for I think the Bengals as well, because we're not used to like Super Bowl week Gronk comes out and says that he wants to play with Joe Burrow. Like we're not used to players going out and just all wanting to play with the Bengals. Like we've had people come and play with us because of Joe Burrow. Like the last 2 years, we've been at the top of free agency in terms of bringing guys in. I think ESPN just released a stat second in 2020 for free agents, literally when Burrow came in the league, and then sixth last year. And so this is going to be even crazier because you have so many people that watched this team go to the Super Bowl, that saw the weapons, that saw what we're building here. And most of those guys are coming back, right? You just franchised Jesse Bates, which I think would have been the biggest loss in free agency. So he's back. You got all of these young guys on rookie deals. So you're going to attract a lot of veterans, and you're going to attract a lot of offensive linemen because obviously the Bengals need offensive linemen. So Ryan Jensen has been thrown out there. You've seen Larry Tunsil kind of flirt with us, with Mike Hilton reaching out to him on social media. So you've just seen a lot of people kind of saying that they want to play in Cincinnati. We're just going to have to see who those players are and what the Bengals are willing to spend for it. But I think the difference this year is you don't probably have to offer top dollar if they want to come to you, because they know that they may be competing for a championship with Joe Burrow with this window that we have. So that's going to be the interesting point, is how do they go out and approach these players? I think Jensen makes perfect sense. With that, I think that if you do sign Jensen, they're definitely cutting Trey Hopkins, right? And then the other thing is, I still feel like the best move for them, they still have to cut Trey Waynes. So when they do that, that's going to free up another like 12 million or something like that in cap space as well. But I think the biggest move that they actually need to do to free up some more cap space flexibility is actually extend Jesse Bates. So they franchise tagged him, but you don't want that to be that number to count directly against the cap. And so I think that they're going to go out and do what they usually do and go out and get some big names that they've done in the last 2 years. And I think I honestly can't wait for it to happen. Rob Gronkowski, I think that would really be a deal. Like if we could offer him like $4.5 million guaranteed instead of like $8 million, I think that would be a great signing. If they go out and get Jensen, that's a great signing. If they trade, I think that should be something that they look into as a trade market too, because free agency is super expensive. And so with you needing so many linemen, I think that they need to trade for a lineman. But I think that it's the perfect kind of setup for them, given the circumstances, given how the draft is set up, given how the free agents are coming out that this year. I think that it's going to be perfect for them. And I'm interested to see what they're going to do. But I do think that they will sign a lot of names, I think, in this offseason. Last season, you saw it with Cheeto, Mike Hilton. There are other guys, DJ Reader and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see who those splashes are. But I think majority of them will be obviously on the offensive line, because that is what they have to fix. And I'm looking at tight end. I'm also looking at 3-tech, because when you flip sides to the defensive side of the ball, Larry Ogunjobi's a free agent who they loved last year, but he ended up having that Achilles or whatever lower leg injury that was. You got BJ Hill, who you traded for, which was a steal for Billy Price. He played really good for you, but both of those guys are not under contract. So you got to get a 3-tech. And then you talk about corner. Eli Apple, I think he did a great job for us last year, especially with what you paid him. But you have a hole open at corner, because you had a lot of guys that were kind of castaways that you kind of collected over there, where it was like 3 or 4 guys, and all of them were signed on 1-year deals last year. So all of them are free agents. So the corner market is something to pay attention to. I don't think the J.C. Jackson thing is real. A lot of people were linking us to J.C. Jackson. I think that that's too rich, especially with you having to extend Bates. But one guy that I'm really interested on is Carlton Davis from Tampa. I think that that's a guy. He might not get JC money, but he'll be like right under that. But honestly, I don't really like this corner market that's out there. Outside of those 2 guys, you got more guys that are a little bit older. You got guys that aren't as proven as Travarius Ward, those guys like that. So if it's not Carlton, I'm kind of like, I might take Eli Apple back on the cheap and try to draft one. So I'm excited to see what they do as far as the offensive line, as far as defensive tackle. Will they go after edge? I don't think so, because they kind of brought Joseph Asai in. He really wreaked havoc that first game. So I think this is going to be interesting, but I think it's more so going to be targeted around that offensive line, fixing that, bringing some stability to Joe Burrow in that offense. So I'm excited for it, way more than the draft, because picking 31 is trash. Like it just sucks. Like you just don't know who you're gonna get, dog. And like mostly everybody that you want is gonna be gone. So free agency is what I'm looking forward to, especially week 2 of free agency, because once week 1 is done, that price goes down, and then you're gonna get cap casualties. That stuff that I'm waiting for too, because I think guys like Taylor Lewan could potentially get cut too. There's still some guys out there that can join this free agent market, and so that's what I'm kind of looking forward to, is how they approach free agency and where they go from there and how they end.
You talked about Jesse Bates. I know that he got franchise tagged. Is there expectation that he is going to get signed long term, or is that a situation where like they're not talking at this point?
They claim that they're still going to work towards an extension. They had to give him the tag, right? Because if you don't, he's testing free agency, right? So he's probably going to balk at whatever you offer him there and try to get what he can in free agency. He said that he didn't want to be franchised, which every player says that. Of course, you want that security. I think that it is a possibility that they still can get it done. But the Bengals, the more free agency starts and the more people that they sign, I think the less likely that it is that they do get a deal done with Jesse Bates. I think that it can go either way. But I think that Jesse really needs to be careful with how he's playing his hand, because you got a lot of players wanting to come to the Bengals, and this is a draft with a lot of safeties. It's not something that I feel like he has super leverage on, if I'm just putting it out there, because if you got JC Jackson or someone out there and he doesn't want to play ball, you might go after one of those guys. So I think it is a real possibility that they could get an extension done, because they did that with Reggie Nelson. There was a similar situation where they franchise tagged Reggie Nelson and then they extended him after giving him the franchise tag. So I think something like that is plausible, but it's also plausible that it's a 1-year deal, because a lot of people kind of looked at what Katie Blackburn said after they franchise tagged him. And it kind of sounded like, all right, Jesse, like we're good with this, but if we can't come to a deal on making you the top paid safety, we'll just take you for this 1 year and look elsewhere. So I think it goes both ways, whichever way it plays out.
The reason I ask is it's a weird game of chicken that the Bengals and Steelers are both playing, right? Because I think Bates, like you said, wants to be the highest paid safety. So does Minka, and they're those are guys from the same draft class.
Jamal Adams just screwed everybody.
Well,
up.
I mean,
certified linebacker just getting $17 million to screwed everything up. So
so we just take that out of the
equation. What are the Seahawks going to do with him?
I think
I don't know. He's a perfect tank piece. He's not good. Yeah, you want to keep him around to tank.
Yeah, but you're paying him a lot of money to suck. Yeah. Well, I guess you got to pay somebody.
You got to pay somebody. Yeah, I mean, money's got to go somewhere. I wonder if
with Jamal Adams, though, if you put him in the right defense, he just got to realize
he's not good box safety.
No more.
I wouldn't expect Minka to get his deal until closer to training camp, right? That's how these things usually work with the Steelers. But I think that there's a limit, right? They at some point you can't work out an extension with Bates anymore, right? Is that right?
Yeah, I believe there is. I think it's like if it's not done like right before the season, you can't do it in season. And the other thing the Bengals do too is roll over cap, so they're going to be rolling over money for like the Burrow deal and the Higgins stuff. So that's also going to be a factor. But yeah, if they don't get it done, usually what they try to do is the season before, which didn't happen last year, is they usually try to get a year ahead of it. And it's usually announced like right before the season starts that they've extended someone. So that's generally where you might hear them like announce an extension either between now and then. But yeah, if it gets to end season, like Tony is saying, you can't negotiate.
How much do you think is the cap hit for Jamal Adams this year?
I don't know, 20 mil?
9.
No, it's one of those.
But if you cut him,
18.
30.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those deals.
And then next year it's 18. And if you cut him, it's 21.
So what's he have? Like his last year of his deal, he's got like a $27 million cap hit or something.
In 2024 and 2025 is when you can cut him and you have a positive on the. So you need it. The next 2 years, he's uncuttable. You pay more to cut him than you to do for keeping him.
Nobody's trading for that contract. I don't think anybody's trading for that.
Nope.
I mean, I think you can make an argument for it for some teams.
Let me say this.
Value's real low right now, right? If you can get him for a fourth, right? I think you would do that for, and then look, you would get him for a fourth, play him for 2 years. Then once he gets to the part where that contract gets expendable, you can trade him more easily.
No,
Like,
the Seahawks can't trade him though because they eat the cap.
They
the
can't.
oh,
money.
they eat that.
They eat
They
that
eat
money.
all
Yeah,
of that. Yeah.
They eat all of
If
that.
That's what
they,
he said.
if
Never
they,
mind. Jamal Adams, buy a house in Seattle, bro. You ain't going nowhere no time soon, man.
if they trade him, the cap becomes 30 mil for him.
Not to his agent. He got that guaranteed up front.
Look, if the Ravens would have want to trade for him, I'm on board because this year for a team that trades for him, it's only 2 mil, and then next year's 11 mil. That's it.
Yeah, but the Ravens don't. I mean, I know what you're
No,
saying.
no,
Like,
no,
'cause
I'm,
it's
I'm
so
just
cheap,
saying
but
any team. Yeah, any team.
yeah.
So anyway, guys, this is what we're gonna be talking about: free agency. We're gonna do draft, mock draft. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us. Hit the bell. Follow us on Twitter. There's a lot of content coming up. We're gonna be coming once a week, every week. Make sure you do follow us on or subscribe to our Patreon if you want to support us more. We're gonna be doing betting shows there. We're gonna do extra content there. So if you want, please subscribe there. And hey, this is gonna be a fun off season. I think everybody, for the most part, has some sort of cap. I think for the Ravens and probably the Steelers, we usually shop in the second wave. So I'm expecting us to do the
value. We're at Costco. We're always at Costco. We get the value.
But I would not
trying
be
to get the value
surprised
deals.
if the Bengals go in hot and try to solidify what they need to keep pushing for that Super Bowl. And I think the Browns, like Q said, is looking for that. You want a 1 year prove a year? Come to the Browns.
Yeah, they're in like that. Yeah, exactly. They're in a weird.
Hey, bro, you want to get back into free agency? Oh, I got just a situation for you. Come on and see what you could do with Baker Mayfield for 1 year, and then get your ass back out there. You know, because if you have, let's be honest with you, it might be one of them situations where the Browns offense is so bad. If you get 500 yards of the Browns offense and you Allen Robinson, somebody gonna talk themselves into being bad. We can get 1,200 out this dude with a real quarterback, and then they gonna do it.
Syndrome.
Yeah. Mr. Trubisky said
Mr.
Trubisky value went up. He didn't play a single down this year, right? Like now he's the belle of the ball. Hey,
watch Matt Nagy ruin Justin Fields, and you're like, wait a minute.
It's like Suge Knight at the VMAs. He's like, look, man, you ain't got to be worried about no quarterback being in the videos, being in the highlights. Nah, come to Cleveland. We gonna give you end arounds and run plays, dog. You gonna show you can block. If you have a reputation issue, come on here, get your 1 year deal, and then come on out and get your money afterwards.
Can
Ask
you
JD Clowney how that's gonna work out for him.
Can you imagine Q's life after Allen Robinson, Tyler Heineke this year, and next year they fire Stefanski and they hire Kingsbury?
Okay, now if they fire Stefanski, I'm gonna be miserable. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I would not be opposed to Tyler Heineke and Allen Robinson at this point. Like, you underestimate what I went through last season at the end of it. Like, yeah, I'll take Tyler Heineke and Allen Robinson if that meant that I didn't have to watch a complete meltdown again. Like, you know, I would be fine with that if he could play well. Allen Robinson, we at that point to where we might just have to bite the bullet and get that Allen Robinson money. No long-term money for him. Short term, yeah, sure. 1 year of Allen Robinson, sure, but just know if he has a bad game, I'm gonna let y'all know. Like, oh yeah, this is that bad that y'all talk. Let me leave Allen Robinson alone, man.
Yeah.
He did that to society.
My goodness.
But it was only because people were telling me he was the top 5 receiver last year.
Well, when the Steelers get him and Mitch back together again, he will be. But just give it 6 months.
You give him a quarterback that can't throw the football, then all of a sudden he turns into a great wide receiver. But if you give him a quarterback who can actually throw the thing, all of a sudden he get 500 yards off 2 targets. Like,
okay, we have 2 super chats here before we go. Gronk not signing unless he said
he said it. He already said it. Apparently, so there's a couple things. The first thing he said was, if Brady is retired, which I think he is, the only other quarterback he wants to play with is Joe Burrow. Then there was like something where it's like this anonymous agent says his prominent tight end wants to play for the Bengals. And then I just saw today there was a video of Bengals fans that caught Gronk walking into the Super Bowl, and he was like, I'm coming to Cincinnati. And then he's like walking off. And it's after he said that he wanted to play with Burrow. So I think
he messing with people at this point. You know how Gronk is. This same dude who faked his retirement and then told people after he faked his retirement just so he didn't have to play for the Lions. Like, Gronk like to mess with people. I don't know.
Another good team that needs a tight end, the Broncos, because they just traded their tight end, Noah Fant. right?
Yeah. Alberto season. He's finally coming.
Alberto. We'll see.
Bro, how old is Gronk at this point, though?
He's at
32. He had 800 yards in 12 games last year, though.
I feel like that was his I feel like that was his Shaq on the Phoenix Suns year, and now you about to get Shaq on the Cavs if you trade for Gronk, right? Like it's like, okay, man, it's been squeezed out, right? Like Tom got all he could get out of that one, and he got 800 yards. So I think we have reached the end of his.
You don't need him to do a lot, though. I mean, that offense, you don't even do. You know, he can be a situational guy almost.
Yeah.
We
Just go up
need
there
him
and
in
win a
the red
50-50
zone.
ball every once in a while.
Red zone machine.
Yeah. Just go be Gronk for
Gronk-
10 plays a game. That's all we need.
And then Noah still to finish here says Gronk is average. TB or Tom Brady.
800 yards in 12 games is not average. 400 yards is. If you want average, look at Drew Sample.
Yeah, look at also Hooper if you are average.
Hey,
Like,
highest paid tight end can't be average.
third or fifth highest paid. He's not the highest paid. You know, Travis Kelce does exist in the neighborhood of his own, and then there is Mark Andrews. All right, but and then way down
I
there.
don't know. Mark Andrews took up residency.
Yeah.
I mean, he got an apartment. Look, here's how he got an apartment in that neighborhood. It's a nice apartment. Mark Andrews is downtown.
It's like a rent with the option to buy. Nah, that's like a rent with the option to buy, dude.
Nah, he don't got a condo yet. He ain't got a condo yet.
They're roommates right now. They're roommates.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah.
He may be getting his own spot right next door.
He has a real nice apartment with a good view. You know, he moved up. He out there. He's in the neighborhood. They shop at the same grocery store, but you know, Kevin Kelce owned his house. You know what I mean? Like that's his.
Oh man. Anyway, if you guys love football, you love AFC North Talk, you love anything football related, come join us here. Go follow us on Twitter because we don't have a schedule for, since there's no games. Monday to Friday, it's going to be one of those days. We'll announce it on Twitter. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. See you next time, guys. Peace out.